It's Pride Month, and so today we're going to investigate the murder of Matthew Shepard and the impact it has had on the gay trans panic defense. Hello there, my friends. How are you doing? Yes, as always, I say this, it's a pleasure to sit down here with you and share our thoughts and theories. I am Dee Sparta, and welcome to my channel. This is where we dive into the mysterious and unsolvable, and then try to learn more through tarot and other divination tools. If you are new here or just haven't subscribed before, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post videos weekly, and sometimes I throw in a bonus or two, and I will definitely be doing that this month. So also, please hit the thumbs up button if you like this content. Comment down below with your thoughts and ideas on our topics. Please remember, be nice. The topics I'm going to be covering this month, I believe in this community here that we have here with our true crime tarot, that you guys have good big hearts, and I love it. So I appreciate that, and just help me just keep the comments in a positive, even if you have questions about what it is to be LGBTQ, keep it in a non-derogatory way, please. And also post your suggestions for future videos. I'm probably not going to get to a lot of suggestions until July, but hey, put them in there so I can start working on it, okay? Because I do like to research. Yes, so today we're going to cover Matthew Shepard. I'm not sure how many people actually know who Matthew Shepard was. This little guy over here. He was a young man who just turned 21. And what you're going to learn is he was kidnapped and murdered and beaten, left for dead, tied to a fence for 18 hours until someone found him. He died 5 days later. The individuals involved used what is called the gay panic defense to justify the beating and killing of this gay man. This is a very serious topic. And I need to warn you that this can also be triggering. I'm tearing up because in my research, just a lot of things coming back. Just so you know, I am 50 years old. I was born in 1972. And I have lived through a lot of the things we're going to discuss this month for Pride Month. Today, we're doing Matthew Shepard. I'm also going to go, why is there pride, and the significance of pride with the Stonewall riots. I'm going to talk about the AIDS epidemic and how it affected the gay community. I'm even going to debunk the evangelical idea that Sodom and Gomorrah was justifying the killing of gays, saying that homosexuality is wrong, because it's not, and Sodom and Gomorrah had nothing to do with it. It's really a reaching theory, and I'm going to tackle all that. Some of you don't realize it. Yes, I've been to Bible seminary. I was a minister. I was a worship leader and worked with youth counseling at my church. I did a lot. And I worked in the radio and TV ministry of a big evangelical Pentecostal church. So I have this background and I have the knowledge. So we're going to cover that. I'm also going to talk about what the Trevor Project is and how it is here to help many thousands of suicidal teenagers who are gay or LGBTQ, trans, bisexual. And I'm also going to cover the killing of trans women, especially those whom are black or people of color. We're going to talk about why there is the Trans Day of Remembrance. It's these women. This is going to be a heavy month. But at the same time, I want us to realize that we have come much further than when I was younger. There's still so much more we need to do. So we're going to bring awareness. Also, this video, I am going, I realize these topics, I can't imagine YouTube monetizing me this month, and that's okay. I don't make a whole lot monetized anyway. I'm just trying to do my best to bring awareness. So we're going to be doing a fundraiser. I'm going to be posting up with this video today where you can donate to the Matthew Shepard Foundation. And we'll get into that more later, all right? Now, I want to make I'm going to make a statement here that is according to something I found on the American Bar Association. Now, this is, if you're not familiar with the Bar Association, if you're an attorney and you want to practice, you got to pass the bar exam and be, approved by the American Bar Association. And they can also yeet that, your license pretty much to practice law very easily if you screw up. All right. There is an op-ed written by Alexandra Holden, and this is how she describes what the gay trans panic legal defense is. The gay trans panic legal defense legitimizes and excuses violent and lethal behavior against members of the LGBTQ plus community. The defense is defined by the LGBT bar as a legal strategy which asks a jury to find a victim's sexual orientation or gender identity is to blame for the defendant's violent reaction, including murder. This legally sanctioned discrimination against one's sexual orientation and gender identity must cease. Even lawyers are trying to say, we can't do that. And we're going to learn a little bit more about this. If you want to learn more about the gay panic defense and Matthew Shepard, please stick around. Now, I know some of y'all may just want to skip on ahead and get to the tarot reading. And that's why I'm going to have chapter links down below. So you can, pick what you're going to do. All right. I got this for you. All right. So here we go. Hi. Thank you for sticking around. It's so good to have you here with me. And I hope you appreciate and learn something today. If you are younger and in the LGBT community, I really appreciate you guys so much. And I love that you guys have so much more freedom. And I want you to learn the history. And those of you who are allies, or maybe you are just curious, maybe you have something against LGBTQ. I want you to know that I am grateful that you would watch this video, and I hope that you learn something a little bit more why there is a Pride Month and why it's so important that gay rights, where we can get equal rights, because we don't have it. And you're going to learn how. And case is going to teach you that. Okay, so let's get into this. In the United States, the LGBT community makes up about 35% of the total population. Yet it is vastly overrepresented in hate crime statistics. In 2007, sexual orientation ranked as the third highest motivator for hate crime incidents, at 17% of total attacks. They're behind race, which was 51%, religion at 18%. Over the course of lesbian, gay, or bisexual people's lifetimes, 1 in 5 will experience hate crimes, and 1 in 4 transgender people will as well. Those individuals at the intersection of homophobia, transphobia, and racism actually faced worse statistics. Between 2013 and 2017, of 102 known transgender people killed in hate crimes in the United States, 75 were Black or African American. Although these numbers are already highly overrepresentative of the LGBT community compared to the U.S. population, they could be higher. See, often crimes against the LGBT community are not recorded as hate crimes by all official sources. Fears of retaliation, discrimination, harassment, or being outed to the friends and family are also concerns that may inhibit LGBTQ plus victims from reporting crimes against them. Despite these grim facts, there is hope. As of July 1st, 2019, 8 states have passed legislative bans on the use of gay trans panic as a legal defense. Amen. California, Illinois, Rhode Island, Nevada, Connecticut, Maine, Hawaii, and New York. Thank you. It is also, now there may have been more that have come forward since then, because this is 2022, but this is as of 2019. Now, it must be noted that the gay trans panic is not an affirmative legal defense. It is a tactic to strengthen defense by playing on prejudice. It is, however, been used to not only explain a defendant's actions, but to excuse them as well. Typically, the defense has 3 variations: defense of insanity or diminished capacity, defense of provocation, and defense of self-defense. Okay? Now, the insanity or diminished capacity defense, it argues that the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity is to blame for the defendant's breakdown into a panic. Oh my God, I'm standing near someone who's gay. Ah! You know, I don't, do I really look that harmful? Really? The provocation defense argues that the victim's proposition of a non-violent sexual advance such could be sufficiently provocative to induce the defendant to kill them. So yeah, if I'm just like, hey, you know, they're gonna like, oh my God, she's flirting with me, kill. That has happened, and it has been excused and justified because of this gay panic defense. I have issues with this. This is why we need to get stopped. The final variation of self-defense claims that because the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity, the victim must have been to cause the defendant. What? The final variation of self-defense claims that because of the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity, the victim must have been about to cause the defendant serious bodily harm. Despite debunking gay panic disorder and its removal from the DSM by the American Psychological Association in 1973, legal defense teams continue to use this. And in the 1954 murder of William T. Simpson in North Miami, Florida, the defendants claimed that they shot Simpson, a gay man, while resisting his advances, thus utilizing the provocation defense. Even the defendants were criminals who frequented that area of the highway to rob, drivers, and intentionally targeted homosexual victims. The defendants were convicted of manslaughter rather than first-degree murder. In the 1998 murder of Scott Amador by Jonathan Schmitz, Amador revealed that he had a crush on Schmitz while on Jenny Jones's show. After a friendly evening together, Amador left Schmitz a provocative note. The defense again utilizes the provocation defense, citing that the nature of this note and Amador's homosexuality was enough to send Schmitz into a panic and to kill Amador. To kill Scott, man. Schmitz was convicted of the lesser offense of second-degree murder rather than first-degree murder. Dustin Daly, he has recently done a background on what happened with this Jenny Jones incident. And I highly recommend that video, and I'll put a link down below. Sheesh. The gay panic defense has not always been successful. You see, in 1998, and this is where we're getting into the murder of Matthew Shepard in Laramie, Wyoming, the defendants again attempted to use the provocation defense to justify the torture and murder of Matthew Shepard. Now, the defendants attempted to argue that Shepard's proposition drove them to murder by irresistible impulse. However, in the state of Wyoming, irresistible impulse is not a defense allowed under the statutory insanity defense construct. So in this case, the gay trans panic defense was deemed inadmissible. Not due to the illegitimacy of the gay trans panic defense, but instead due to Wyoming's statutory insanity defense construct. And so this is why the Matthew Shepard case is so important and has made such an impact in getting this gay panic defense removed. Currently, there are several state legislation, well, this is back in 2019, state legislative efforts to ban and denounce the legitimacy of the gay trans panic defense. The status of these efforts are in Washington State, New Mexico, Texas, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and the District of Columbia. At the time, we're all in committee discussing it. At the federal level, the Equality Act, which we are trying to get passed, which will ban the gay trans panic defense, has finally been introduced, and we got to get this. We need the Equality Act. We must show solidarity with the LGBT community if you're an ally, okay? It is harrowing that currently one's sexual orientation or gender identity can still provide an inkling of a legal defense in their murder trial. Help to end this discrimination by supporting legislative bans on the gay trans panic defense. Okay, so this was pulled from the American Bar Association, and an intern had wrote this. Now, what happened to Matthew Shepard? Who is Matthew Shepard? Wow, this is really going to be hard. I'm just trying to prepare myself because I'm probably going to bawl my eyes out here. Here we go. Matthew Shepard was tortured and left for dead because he was gay. The degree of torture is unimaginable. And he was tied to a fence for 18 hours. before someone found him. Tied to a fence. And here's a picture of that fence. The cross there on the ground is showing where they found him, his hands tied to the fence and him stuck there. You see, there was someone biking in the area and they fell. Believe it or not. Yeah. And they thought they saw a scarecrow or a costume, Halloween costume kind of figure. But they realized, wait a minute, that's a person. And so they came to the person and just kept trying to comfort them. Hey, I'm here. Because even with the amount of injuries, which we're going to get into, he was still barely alive. He died 5 days later from a broken stem at the base of his brain and multiple skull fractures. Seriously, this is like... He was left there for 18 hours. Here's a picture, briefly, you can see of him in the hospital before and after. Now, I don't want to get too much into the ones who killed Matthew because I really want to focus on our victims. Aaron McKinney claims now he's come out after using the gay panic defense. He's trying to say, hey, no, it was a meth fix. I needed money. This was a robbery gone wrong, and I was raging because I needed my fix. Another kid, Henderson, was involved, but he just sat back in the car watching Aaron beat this child, this young man. He wasn't a child, he was 21, but he looked very young, doesn't he? Folks. Now, this happened in October, so it was cold in Wyoming. Trust me, I'm in Boise, and in October, we get snow. Sometimes we get a white Halloween, okay? But I want you to learn a little bit more about Matthew, what he went through, and his parents, and what happened at his funeral. This is like historic, let me tell you. You see, while Shepard was laying there unconscious in the hospital, news came forward about what was happening in Laramie, Wyoming, and people rushed. Media, they claim it was like locusts. And this story became huge, international while he laid in the hospital. Oh gosh. People are saying he's the new poster child of gay rights. I'm going to talk about a quote from Andrew Sullivan, gay rights advocate. I think a lot of gay people, when they first heard of this horrifying event, felt sort of punched in the stomach. I mean, it kind of encapsulated all of our fears of being victimized. And I remember that all too much growing up. Which is why I stayed in the closet. Tensions were really high. So high that Shepard's father had to wear a bulletproof vest under his suit while he spoke at the funeral. So this is the funeral over here, and his parents there speaking, and yeah, he had a bulletproof vest under that. Now, the cases, Russell Henderson's case came out first, and to avoid the possibility of receiving the death penalty, he did plead guilty to murder and kidnapping. And he has 2 consecutive life terms in prison. Aaron McKinney a year later, after Matthew Shepard's death, he was convicted of felony murder, aggravated robbery, and kidnapping. Now, McKinney and Henderson admit to killing Shepard, but the story just seems to change a lot. And I'm not going to go into the past. Oh, these poor kids, they had a rough childhood. Because you can have a rough childhood and not turn out to be a killer. Look at me. Okay? No kidding. Now, McKinney is trying to claim that everything is because he needed his meth. Not everyone's falling for that one. Especially Matt's parents, Judy and Dennis Shepard. And they started the Matthew Shepard Foundation to honor his life and aspirations. And this is right off their website. Inspired by the tragedy they endured, the initial purpose of the foundation was to teach parents with children who may be questioning their sexuality to love and accept them for who they are and not throw them away. Many of you know my parents rejected me and my children and my wife. So this is hard. Through their own personal experiences across the country and around the world, Judy and Dennis Shepard, they're changing hearts and minds by sharing Matt's story and highlighting the importance of standing up for the LGBT community. This is really intense, And I'm going to go into a little bit more of Matthew's story. It was October 7th in 1998 when he was at a bar and approached by Aaron and Russell, and they just got this idea. They had planned they were going to pretend that they were gay, just like Matt, because Matt was out of the closet. Everyone in university and school knew he was gay. Their plan was to kidnap him and rob him, and it escalated to his killing. And he was assaulted with the butt of a pistol, severely beaten. I think it was like 20, 30 times, some outrageous number. And he was tied to the fence and left for dead. As we said, not found for 18 hours. So for 18 hours, this young man, God damn it, he was dying and alone. Oh, God damn it. Matt died on October 12th at 12:53 a.m. in Fort Collins, Colorado. His family was there. Now, his memorial service, gosh damn it, I'm going to have to get into this, and this is a horrible part what happened. Because you see, Westboro Church, if you're not familiar with them and felt, they showed up protesting. And as you can see, they were holding up signs about how God hates fags. I don't know if you could really see just these signs and how it's okay to kill them. Oh, God. And also, they were claiming, there were signs saying, AIDS kills fags. It's our punishment. It's horrible. Sorry, my hair is just a life of its own. Now, this is why, because of Westboro protesting, even though there were Late night memorial, you see here, people gathered, mourning, grieving the loss of what happened to this young man. There still were people protesting and saying that Matt and they were yelling how he's burning in hell. So, what form then we're going to learn more about are called the angels. And to try and block the view around the church and block out what the protesters, you can kind of see them behind in this picture down here, some of the signs, but these people were standing there trying to protect and block the protesters at this memorial service. This is a memorial service, folks. And Westboro wanted to ruin it. And this is something that Westboro Church has done and does. The angels actually had earplugs, some of them, so they couldn't hear the vile things being yelled at the... Gosh damn it. What is wrong with some people? So, that's what we got here on Matthew Shepard. Because the kids, the two boys who robbed and murdered Matthew, they're coming out now saying that it wasn't because, originally Aaron Kinney was saying in the car, Matt hit on him by placing his hand on Aaron's thigh, and that's what provoked it. That is the original story. But what they had done was they had called him, hey, let's go out and go do something. Matt was like, okay, he apparently he was familiar with these guys and he didn't think any harm would come. And so he went with them. But as he went in with them, they beat him, robbed him, found out that he only had $20. Or was it 30? I've seen 20 and 30 in several different places. So we'll just put that out there. That's all Matt had. They thought Matt would have more money because they just looked at him like, oh, he's a nice, clean cut kid wearing nice clothes. So he must have a lot of cash on him. And we want that money to go buy meth. And so while in the car, they're saying, Matt had flirted. So this is why we escalated and robbed him. And then drove him out to the fields in the middle of nowhere, tied him to a fence to leave him there for dead after being beaten on the head, his skull, many, many, many times, causing the kind of skull fractures that you would see in a car wreck. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, so there we have it. That they changed the story to it was because of meth. It was because the guy was gay. And some people have tried to say that Aaron had been done a 3-way with his girlfriend and another guy, and that maybe Aaron Kinney is gay or bisexual. And if he was, he could have been hating himself because of that. Because there are some people who have a hard time accepting their identity, and their feelings because they're being taught that it's wrong. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know what happened. Curious. We're going to dive into this case now with a tarot reading. And here we go. Oh, wow. Welcome, everybody. We're here. We're going to do this. I'm going to get this tarot reading done, and I'm going to put out there, remember, this is alleged and for entertainment purposes. This is really serious, the situation that I'm talking about. And I want to make it clear that I respect everyone's sexual orientation and gender identity. And you don't out anybody. Now, already we know one person, the one who actually beat the Matt. There is things saying that he could actually be bisexual. I don't know. And I hope the reading doesn't even go into any of that, but we'll find out, But I don't want you thinking I'm going to say, oh yeah, this person is this without their consent. Okay? I don't believe in any of that. Whew. I'm using my Edgar Allan Poe deck today. Just such a heaviness that I just... Oh, man. I am trying not to fall apart here, folks, but I am feeling some strong emotions here. Okay, the first card we have, this is a 9 of Cups. And I'll put that down here. The High Priestess. What I'm sensing is Matt's happy now where he is. That even though he suffered so much, he's happy. And I know he's very proud of his parents for the work they're doing. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing with these two cards right here immediately. The Hierophant reversed. Wow. We're dealing with corruption here. And we know that the church, which the Hierophant represents, they may think that what they're doing is right, but it's so wrong. And it's corrupt. It's not even what God says, or even in the Bible. I think Matt really wants the church to change. Here's the Queen of Swords reversed, okay? It's interesting. Just feeling the cruelty. Just this cold heart. I don't feel any remorse from Kenny, who, he it's like he's still justifying what he did. Where the opposite, you have Matt, who's finally able, free to live his life where, the beyond here, folks. And then the world reversed. I don't think, I know Henderson was, some people think that the one kid Henderson should get out, be free. But I don't see anything like that's going to be happening for these guys. They are going to be living in this isolation in these jails for the whole full 2 life sentences. There's no going backwards. What they did is horrifying. I really said so. There are people who really feel that they got lucky by pleading out so that they didn't get the death penalty. I personally have issues with the death penalty because we've had way too many innocent people. People who are marginalized with disabilities. People of color, women, and those who are of the LGBTQ community wrongfully killed. The Empress upside down. There's a lack of a mother figure. There's a lack of not being able to nurture or care. There's a lack of caring. There's this evil. I mean, it's like almost no emotion. It's so cold from Kinney. Like, he can't feel. I don't know if it's because of the drugs that he says he's taken. I'm not sure. In all honesty, sorry, I gotta take off my glasses. Oh, because I've been crying and they're getting dirty and blurry. And my vision is blurry as it is. In one eye, I'm blind. In the other eye, I have astigmatism here. So just... Whew. We got the 7 of Cups. Oops. We got the Moon reversed. And then we have the 2 of Cups. And I'm just seeing Kinney and Henderson. Okay. 7 of Cups. Interesting. Yeah, this... It... This is horrible. You see, you got the 7 of Cups right here, and it's like because Matt was gay, I am really sensing they saw this as an opportunity that they could rob him. It's like, oh, this is someone whom, if we do anything to, they're not gonna come out against us. They'll be too afraid because they're gay to speak up. And that's why they targeted him. They were like, this is why we're gonna target this guy. They saw him as, he was a target. I don't think Henderson is as sincere as he tries to say that, well, now I look back and I realize I should have done something. I think it's more of he's just saying it hoping to get out. I think he sat there and watched this happen and did nothing. Nor did he report that this kid, give an anonymous tip or anything that would happen. And that there was somebody out there. He just left him there for death. He is just as guilty. These two together, they were a team. I think they did target others. I think this time things escalated more so than it totally escalated. Oh, they did definitely catch Henderson off. Like, well, I didn't know we were going to do that, but he let it happen. I think he was also scared of Kenny. Here's the lovers reversed. I am struggling here, folks. I gotta be honest with you. Because I don't like what I'm seeing. The trying to say, oh, now it's meth. I think they're trying to get away from their actually being a hate crime. Oh gosh, I can tell my makeups weren't messed up from my crying. Yeah. This is like, they never heard. I didn't do too much research. Didn't really want to dig into the past of the killer, but he never was loved in his family. There was nothing. His coping was to shut down his emotions. His coping mechanism to protect himself from being hurt. And that corrupted. And so he could not realize how much damage. And oh God, I'm going to throw up here. Because it was almost like, I want to see what's going to happen. I'm just going to keep hitting. I'm just going to keep hitting him. What is this like? It's sickening what I'm feeling. Because to him, it was just, how far can I go? Am I going to feel something? Am I going to feel regret? Nah, I'm just going to turn and walk away. Oh gosh. Yeah, the Emperor reversed, folks. He couldn't control himself in certain situations. He's very dominant. And the continuous hitting, that's all because he didn't know how, there was no he didn't grow up with boundaries or discipline. So it just came out that way. And it did have to do with Matt being gay. He hated a part of himself, targeted Matt. I'm seeing like, if I do this, I can beat it out of me, almost cleanse me. Shit. And here's the Two of Wands. just this was they knew how long Matt was gay. They had hung out with him, I think, before, or in the same circles. I think, because they're probably at the small town bar. Them pretending to be gay to win Matt's confidence. This was planned. I mean, they knew they were going to target him. It wasn't like, oh, I have this meth fix and we need money now because last week I couldn't get it. But they were waiting specifically for Matt because to them he was weak and he was the target that they could take advantage of, and they thought they could get away with it. They really did. And their attorney really convinced them to go forward with the gay panic defense. They found someone who would go for it. Here's the fool. Yeah, they thought Matt is this innocent fool, could be taken advantage of. And here's the hermit reversed. But Matt was really lonely kind of guy. I think he felt really lonely. Very lonely. It was almost like he went with the two men because he just was really hoping he'd be accepted. So the betrayal. Oh my God. Oh, the moment he started realizing he was in danger. Oh my God. The abandoning of hope and being out there. Oh, God. Oh, heavy emotions I'm feeling. I'm sorry for. And here's the Three of Cups. He really did think he could find a friendship. It didn't work out that way. Oh, draw 3 more cards. Then I'm going to change decks. Damn it, don't want to smear. I don't think I wore waterproof mascara, folks. King of Pentacles. Yeah, it's about money. Too, Matt was strong. He was trying to stay alive for his family. His despair. Earlier I'll tell you what I was seeing. He kind of went into his own mind when he was out. And he just kept trying to hang on for his family. There's the 7 of Swords. This is all about the betrayal and deception over the Friends card. Folks, That's intense. For some reason, I'm seeing a third figure, and I don't understand who this third figure is. Maybe it's someone who knew Matt was going to be targeted and kept their mouth shut. Because they were afraid too. And I kind of. It's like he saw Matt go off with these two, and instead of saying, hey, don't stay, try and keep it back, he let them go. I think this guy's feeling a lot of fucking guilt. Alright, here's card 14. This is the fairy version of the Lenormand deck. My wife bought for me, because I wanted it. This is the Trickster. Deception. That's how they, and trying to say now that I was just raging because I needed drugs. I needed meth, that was all fake. All right, here we have 36. And 36, we're dealing with, it is the cross. You see the cross? This is suffering, burden, which, yeah, it's just, yeah, we know it, suffering. I also think the killer was suffering too, and he just took it all out to make someone else hurt also. Okay, this is number 2, and yeah, you can see it's also the 6 of diamonds. And you might see the little clover. Now, since this is near some negative cards, this doesn't mean good luck. This means an opportunity was there, and they took it, and it was a bad opportunity. Bad luck for Matt, and gosh, just. It's amazing how these cards fall out just telling the story. One. This is about the media and how they handle right now. I'm starting to feel the impact the media had, which made Westboro Church want to show up because it had ignited so much controversy, where people were like, there are gay people being killed, being beaten, left for dead. Matthew Shepard isn't the only one, but because just the brutality and being left there for 18 hours and then hanging on for 5 days. Everyone was like, is he going to make it or not? And Westboro saw this as an opportunity for them to come out and ruin things and be harmful. Okay, here's 13. Now, this is the child. There were children. Did Westboro bring children to this protest at the funeral? That's what I'm seeing. I think that's absolutely disgusting. Here's card 31. This card here, you see the fairy, she's kind of in contemplation, looking at the sun. What this is showing is the funeral, it was brought to light just how horrible Westboro really is. And the angels that surrounded the funeral, people standing there, blocking out Westboro, not letting him through, because they had plans. And that's why the father was wearing a bulletproof vest underneath his suit. This situation brought to light just how much hate there is towards the LGBT community and how much inequality there is. To church. 30. Lily. Family. Loyalty. This is the message people are giving. Family needs to be loyal and love and accepting of their LGBTQ family members. And I'm seeing that the bringing to light with the son, that is the message. And we already, if you saw the previous clip, that is the reason why there is the Matthew Shepard Foundation, to bring awareness to parents to be accepting and how to accept. Here's a crossroads. Making changes. Crossroads. You have a choice to go down a path and abandon and neglect your child, or you can love and accept them. And if you raise children to hate, to not accept the differences in others, you bring about those who are going to be an Aaron Kinney and Russell Henderson. If a child is only shown darkness and pain, it takes a lot to bring them to a point where they feel loved and safe. As a parent, I want to protect my children so much. And I want them to be able to grow up and to be who they are and to love who they want to love. You know, my children are non-binary, gender fluid, or trans. You know what? Embrace it. Encourage it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to let my kids live their lives. I'm so glad that there is the younger generation more open to these things. My growing up. As we're going to go further into Pride Month here, you're going to learn that the history of the abuse, the victim, has there always been such persecution against someone being homosexual or transgender? No. This has come about because some men in power started preaching that and saying, their own fears and insecurities. I think I'm really seeing something with the Victorian age, how Queen Victoria was putting on such a thing with purity, and the church and everything was falling in line, and just the restrictions and stifling of sexuality. And I think that's what started building up such this hatred towards people being gay. I think the church, it's just like I'm seeing all this stuff. You go back to the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages, and the fear and hatred. And I just see that dwindling down. It's amazing. It hurts to see. This was rough, folks. But thank you for sticking around. If you stayed this long, wow. Seriously. Wow. Because this was a tough one. Now, I did promise I'm going to be putting information down below with the website to the Matthew Shepard Foundation. Please get involved. Please donate if you can. I know before COVID, I was out and about, very active in the LGBT community here in Boise, Idaho, and had been running, which I've totally neglected because I've been, unfortunately, so busy with other things. I used to run, you could find the Facebook groups, the Boise LGBTQ plus community pages, and very active in Pride. She even had a booth. Yep, we had a booth up there. My wife and I attend the special events leading up to Pride that are fundraisers to help fundraise them. We have made our home a sanctuary and a safe place for LGBTQ, especially trans women. We donate our clothing, our makeup. Before I started doing tarot, I was doing lots of makeup stuff, and I would get so much, and I just donate it to gender fluid and trans people. And I still do, because I still get some of the subscription boxes, because I still like getting the stuff. Just because I'm not doing videos on it doesn't mean I'm not going to get it anymore. But I really and then my health deteriorating, and I can't stand or walk, really. I can't march in the parade this year. And that bothers me. And I know Boise, we usually would hold it in mid-June, but last year, because they kept postponing it because they were hoping to be able to do something because of COVID, it was until September. And this year, once again, we're doing it in September. And honestly, I'm kind of glad, because the weather here, when they would do Pride, was so hot, miserable. I'm like, cooler weather. I love the fall. I love fall. Summer's not my cup of tea, folks. But get involved. Impact the lives of those around you. And some of the ways to do that is be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I always say that to you guys, because it's so important. Because sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves. And then we can be really hard on others. But if you know how to be kind to yourself, it's going to be easier also to be kind to others. And have empathy. You don't know what this other person's been going through. You just don't. I mean, people thought when I was in high school and college, I always had this smile on my face and I'm running around the church, that, man, I had this great life. I didn't have bad parents. My dad, the way he would lose his temper and strike out at me physically and verbally was very terrifying all the way through college. that was all hidden. Everyone was like, oh, your dad's this pastor, you know. Thing is, I love my daddy. I miss him. I know he had a hard life and was abused. And I know how bad it was for him. So what happened to me was nowhere near what he went experienced. So I know he was trying to do better. I know for me, I I never want to hurt my children the way I was hurt by my parents, you know? I try hard. I try really hard. Because I want to raise good people. If I'm going to be raising children, I want them to become good people who are going to have a good impact on the world. That's why I'm letting them embrace themselves. And as queer as they can be. And, you know, when I was able to bring my kids to Pride and we go as a family. And even Carissa's mother and sister and nieces join us. That is amazing. And I want others to have that kind of feeling because I know what it's like to be rejected, but I also know what it's like to be accepted. And I want you to know I'm here for you. I listen to you. I care. And I love you guys. And remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. If you actually listen to this whole thing, put up that pride flag, please. Or even the trans flag. I love you guys. Happy Pride Month. Let's bring awareness and inclusivity and love to everyone.